Good morning.
Live. 100% live right now. It's
Live.
me and Jim Record Collector News.
Good morning. Morning, record collectors.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I guess someone hasn't changed Daddy Bog's bedpan yet. He still thinks it's Rachel's show.
It's early. Hard to tell sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little hard getting up this morning. I've been notified that the stream just went live.
Very cool. Morning, Steve.
Yeah, let's say hi to people. What? Did they have to change the head dressing? Let me know in the comments.
At the doctor's office watching. I have a great doctor's office joke, but I won't tell it.
You probably told it before.
I'm sure I have.
Hold on 1 second. I try and click on someone. Hello. And wait, AZ Mick. It's not an official stream until AZ Mick says hello on any stream. I was gonna click on Christopher. What's up, dude? He's an LA guy.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah. So any new news to tell people?
Just the big speakers are back in.
Oh, hold on.
The legacies are back in.
What's up, Chris James? Hold on. I try and click on one and they move too fast. You can't just leave a comment like that. What does that mean? You're okay with going under the knife? Why are you going under the knife?
Stay out. Next week. Okay.
Roberto, that's a $5 comment, please. It's
the joke I was going to tell was along the line of a Dr. Robert joke, and probably wouldn't have been any better. It's an old man.
No, it's one of your jokes.
Yes.
When you get a new joke, you really break it in.
When I get a new joke, it's an old joke that
No, it's a horrible joke, and you break it in. You tell it to me 58 times.
Yes, I have to tell it.
Good morning, campers.
Hey, Mazzy.
Good morning, campers.
Hey,
good morning.
Let's start off with a review. Of Saturday Night Live the whole weekend. Did you watch the concert on Friday and then the show on Sunday?
I didn't watch the concert yet. I watched the entire show. I loved it for 3.5 hours. I thought there were a handful of clunkers, but there's always a couple clunkers.
Right.
I thought there was some emotional tugs, which were actually, I liked the thing when they went through time in New York City, the two guys arriving in New York in all the decades. I really enjoyed it. It was good seeing a lot of the people there. There was a couple of things that
you have to think about it. I don't know how long they were planning the show, but a typical Saturday Night Live show, they start on Monday for the Saturday show. To do a 3.5 hour show, and they also the Saturday they do a rehearsal, a live run through, not a live run through, but a run through with an audience.
I don't know if they did,
and then they do the live show. I wonder how long it took them to put together, and if they did do.
Just think of the logistics of all the different people involved this time.
It's crazy.
I thought it was great. Even Jack Nicholson. When's the last time have you seen Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, but I've heard iffy things about him. I think he might have gone to one Laker game this year or something.
I know he's sick. I know he's getting old. I know he's
sick. I think he has a bit of memory issues. But he's almost 90 years old. So.
It was still great. It was great seeing him, though, right?
No. But here's the thing. That concert was amazing. The one on Friday. Well, you have to watch it, Mazzy, because I would say there maybe was one or two acts that were okay.
I will watch it. Yeah,
the whole show. If you're going to compare the two, the concert.
Well, it's funny. I didn't realize it was funny. I started watching the concert on Saturday.
Yeah,
and then I got a text and the live thing's on, so I switched it. I decided to watch the live, so I will watch it. Yeah,
the concert was great. I thought it was very good.
And who Analog October. Yeah, the movie is really good. The movie about the rehearsal, the very first.
Yeah.
That was
They
good.
pulled that could have been terrible, and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
I've
hold on.
watched so many pieces and so many weird little fragments. I don't even know what I'm watching anymore.
Okay, so Piper was involved with the red carpet show, which I did watch. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Many of the long-term crew and staff are retiring this week. They waited for the 50th anniversary.
No, I think they're talking about the people that work for the Social Security and all the government offices.
No.
I think
you're talking about people that have been with the show for.
Hey, I want to apologize.
You should.
To who?
I want to send an apology out. I don't know who's watching. How many people are watching now? I can't see.
109 people.
Okay. I want to apologize to all our friends in Europe and Mexico and South America and Canada and the rest of the world for America turning our back on you. And it's not the people. That's all I'll say.
First of all, what you're saying is not funny. Secondly, who are you to apologize?
It's not. I'm not trying to be funny.
Like, are you trying to come up with an album cover? This is like,
it's truthful. It's not humor.
This is like, are you sorry for Hiroshima too?
Again, Mazzy, let's be abstract about this, okay? France. What are your? Do you really stay on top of what's going on in France?
No.
So, do you really think people are that concerned what's going on in the U.S.?
Here's what I'm concerned
anyway. No, I don't know.
I could care less what's going on.
The lady with the stopwatch.
Hold up, Matt, I'm talking. Shush. I could care less what's going on politically in other countries. I don't think about it. People different. Patrick in Sweden. I hope you're doing well and everything's good for you.
This is
politically in Sweden. I don't care.
This is the last political thing I'm going to say today, and it's just that. Okay, maybe not, but it probably is. The one I'm going to try. Something might slip out, Jim. Okay, there's apparently going to be a peace negotiation with Russia, right? I don't know if you heard about that. But they're not bringing the Ukraine to the table.
Mazzy, I don't care. No one cares about this.
Nobody cares about it. Are you fucking kidding me?
We don't care about it.
I mean, honestly, people are not coming here to hear what your thoughts are on us negotiating peace with Russia. No one is here for that. They're here for me to maybe yell at you like I am now. Let's concentrate. Let's concentrate on this. So
can I say
this is really,
please. Well, I need to interrupt. I can't stand it anymore. The lady with the stopwatch who dresses everybody on Saturday Night Live, and they asked her if she saw everyone in their underwear, and they started to ask her, and she immediately went to that Jason whatever dude. That was the cutest moment in the whole show.
That was good. That was good.
That was cute. Come on.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
The nurse. It was great for the nurse.
Can we? I have a comment on screen. So this is really cool. He ran upstairs and was able to see McCartney rehearsing. And look, you can go watch. He posted 8 seconds of it. Go watch it. Okay.
All right. Can we talk about McCartney's performance or not?
We could talk about McCartney.
Okay. First of all, his voice is gone like that, but he's been like that for the last decade almost. But when he does, like I've seen him twice in the last decade.
You've seen him twice with Sans voice?
Yes. But what happens is he makes it work and he loosens it up. And there's some songs, the ballads are not great. He shouldn't do Yesterday anymore. But when he rocks out, he still has it. His band is incredible. I understand it. But when you take one song out of context, well, you're absolutely right.
That was him. He did that. I didn't do that.
No. When you just hear one song out of a 3-hour show, it's hard to see how he is. Now, I haven't seen this last year. I didn't see obviously any of the New York shows last week. His voice is gone. You know what the sad part is? He's trying to sing like he did when he was younger, opposed to Bob Dylan, who at least uses his changed voice to do things completely
I
different.
agree.
Hold on. So here's a point Vinyl Piper's making. He sounded better in rehearsal, and he actually didn't sing at 11 p.m. He sang like at later than that. Am I wrong?
11:30.
No?
Well, regardless of everything, it hurt my heart. It did.
Yeah. Well.
There are people. He's a legend. There are people who have never seen him before. That get
Jelly
to see
Roll
him.
doing
Okay.
Johnny Cash was horrible.
2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, he was playing here, and I ended up going with Coffee Julie, the archivist, and Todd. All right. And the reason I wasn't going to go again, but the three of them had never seen Paul McCartney. And so we got tickets. The four of us went. And I said to them, I just want to warn you, his voice is not what it was. And his voice was crackly at times. But all three of them who had never seen him fucking loved the show and loved him. He goes, I don't care. It was great. He had the exuberance. He had the song.
If you've never seen him, maybe. But I saw him.
You're right. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Unbelievable. And I don't need to have it diminished by that.
That's fair enough.
I saw him 20 years ago. Again, he has an energy about him. And look, if you went to go see, how old's Axl Rhodes? Is he 60 years old? For the last...
That's why I don't go see those guys.
10 or 15 years. He's horrible. He's horrible.
I don't go see
Actually,
the anymore.
Hold on. No one's immune to aging. Yes.
Exactly.
So there are people in their 20s that shouldn't be performing.
But there are people that have different types of voices. Paul is trying to sing the same way he did when he was 30 or 40. Yeah, I agree with that. Like Dylan doesn't try to. I mean, Dylan always had a weird voice.
Dylan changes his act depending on how his voice is that night.
Yeah,
you know?
He adapts.
By the way, Devo was awesome. Devo,
but you know the irony. Ringo is a year older, 2 years older, and sounds better than Paul. Ringo sounds exactly.
He doesn't sing the same way.
And he doesn't have any.
But he kind of does. He has a little lower register, but he sings.
How high does Ringo go?
He never went high though.
I know you haven't seen it, but freaking Cher, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
78.
Yes, she looked like she was 78.
Well, her face looked weird, but she was shaking.
Well, her face is not 78 years old.
Laughing her ass off, singing that. If I could turn back time, it was hysterical. I thought it was great.
You know, there's certain.
Bonnie Raitt. How old's Bonnie Raitt?
Bonnie Raitt.
George Harrison was like
Bonnie Raitt.
At least
I would, if I had to rank the performances, Bonnie Raitt was in the top 5.
And Paul Simon at least had the good sense to sing with someone who still had a voice.
Yeah,
you know?
Paul shouldn't hit those high notes. I agree. Yeah,
you had someone there.
He should Leonard Cohen sounded great. He sounded different than when he was 30.
His dead corpse performed on the show.
I honestly think I honestly think the old guys need to go away and let the young people have the fucking stages.
Well, the young people do have the stages.
No.
Okay, this is like blues artists. Do you think blues art? I know it's different because they didn't make as much money, but a blues artist, those guys were playing until their 80s and 90s. You know, John Lee Hooker and all that stuff. They didn't have the same kind of belting voice. You know,
I saw John Mayall and what's his name play together, Buddy Guy. This has had to be.
The Buddy Guy has his club. He plays every week.
20 years ago.
What about Mick Jagger?
Still has a great voice. Blah blah blah. They can pull it off. Mick Jagger. I would not go see the Rolling Stones. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Even you know what? I will say this. I'm not a Pearl Jam fan. Not even close to being a Pearl Jam.
Eddie Vedder's only in his.
Hey, can I finish? I am Mazzy. I am literally mid-sentence. I am in mid-sentence again. So I'm not a big Pearl Jam fan, but Eddie Vedder was good. I heard
he was good. I didn't see the whole thing.
But he's only 50, right?
No, he's older than that. He's probably pushing 60, isn't he?
Look, if you can pull it off, pull it off. If you can't, I'm sorry. That's me. I'm a jerk.
Eddie, I don't know if Eddie Vedder kicked ass, but Eddie Vedder was very good. He performed too. He did paid a little tribute to Tom Petty. He did a good job there.
Oh, is he 60? Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Jagger still sounds great. He sold his soul to the devil, and his voice is, an octave maybe lower, but not 5 octaves lower or whatever. Anyway, I got both of the shows mixed up. I guess I was watching scenes.
If you have Peacock, the concert was live on Peacock. It was streaming on Peacock because I'm sure they were acknowledging all the F-bombs, although Eddie Murphy did drop an F-bomb on the live show.
You know what was really interesting? I don't know why it seemed like a surprise to me how heavily the sketches were and the talk on drugs on Saturday night. A lot of drug, but more than ever. Remember, like if you saw the movie, they didn't want to even talk about drugs back in the 70s. I know times have changed, but it was heavy drug stuff.
Oh, well, hold on a second, Mazzy. That was the movie's about the first show.
Right.
The first show. But if you're a fan of Saturday Night Live, and I was 7, I had older brothers. I watched Saturday Night Live from the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
Beginning as a 7-year-old. I watched it all.
In the late 70s.
Drugs, plenty the first season.
I know, but it just seemed like a lot of drugs and very little politics too, which is great. It was a lot of drugs.
In the late 70s, cocaine wasn't even considered addicting.
Yeah,
that's how fucked up they were. People were.
But the concert, the live show was fine. It was great. The concert was better. But they had comedy bits all through the concert. They had people introducing the show and doing funny shtick.
They had the husband and wife team.
Yeah. That was good.
That was cute. Saturday Night Live, I don't watch it.
I'm surprised Al Franken didn't seem to be there.
What? Because he's actually, from what I heard about Al Franken, not to be political, Mazzy, he's considering running for senator again in Minnesota.
He should have done SNL then.
So that's why. But the big issue I heard from everyone is Bill Hader. Why wasn't Bill Hader there? There seems that people are making up shit.
And they really kept Chevy Chase out of it.
But he was in the end, right? He was there.
He was there, yeah.
The whole time. Yeah.
I don't think he doesn't have the physical or mental stamina to do any of that.
To argue with them anymore.
If you watch interviews with him.
I didn't even see Joe Piscopo.
Oh yeah, he looked like but he's looked weird for like 25, 30 years.
That's true.
Mag has been upset with Tom Hanks from the get-go. He's been a poster boy for bashing for them forever. Because of his COVID stance, a lot of different reasons they go after him. Plus, he's part of the cabal and all that nonsense. That's levy.
Didn't he jog all the way across the United States and back or something?
Yes, yeah. He invented the smiling face.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, hey, Gay Joel, go on social media and you'll be proven wrong with this statement. I promise you. If you go on TikTok, they've taken that picture and they're bashing him big time. So
we gotta go back to TikTok, huh? I think I'm going to download TikTok.
But I thought it's illegal. I know they did it. No, but it's a reprieve. It's a reprieve. It's still supposedly they're waiting for an American company to buy it.
But you can get it from Apple Store.
I never use TikTok anymore.
When you go through all that crapola, I don't. That's why I don't pay attention. It's so much BS with all of it. So
as soon as I download TikTok, it goes, "Oh, Kaplan." And
you can't download it anymore.
Get nothing but boobs and butts.
You can't download TikTok anymore. You can't.
I thought it came back to Apple last week.
Yeah, it's back at the Apple Store.
No, from what I understand, it's not there anymore until they make a decision. They're not putting it back up.
Well, let's find out.
Shall we? Shan't we? We live in a time when we could just fucking do that.
That's why they're saying it's not probably good to keep it on your phone because they're not updating.
I've never had it, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yep, you can get it. You can get it again.
Okay. All right, download it.
I don't like it. I don't want it.
You've never
Listen,
used it, Mazzy. So how do you?
I don't want to get political, but Bernie Sanders
I
said
don't
that
want to use. I don't want another. I mean, just for me. I'm not saying other people should do it. Should not. I don't want it. I have no interest. It's too much.
Now, is it TikTok or is it TikTok or I don't want to download the wrong thing.
It's TikTok.
Okay. Oh, apparently I have it. I'm just going to open it.
It's probably in your cloud, even if it's not on your phone.
So, oh my God, look at the size of those boobs. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all. All I get is like people doing food reviews.
Okay, here's Joey sent me a thing last night. You want to talk about records and music, so I'm no more politics, obviously. So let's get into the audiophile world. But it's a $39 audiophile, which is decent. But Impex, which is a surprise.
Oh, great! I love that label.
Yeah, well, if you like it or not, I'm not a big one-step person, but they do other great stuff. I like their they did not the Monk, the Mingus. No, Monk.
What's the title that you want to mention?
Anyway,
it's Hurdy-Gurdy Man by Donovan.
Oh, nice! I love that. Record.
Yeah, and that's a great title. And it's interesting. I'm trying to find out more. It says it's Chris Bellman at Bernie Grundman, and it's from the Epic original tapes. Now that probably means like some of Rhino stuff and other labels. That's Mickey Most recorded in England, so that could be the American dub that was used. The thing is, this is a period of time in the UK where Donovan was fucked up in the UK. His records were torn apart and not released on time, and he was bigger in America then. But that's a great record. So it's probably a good tape. So I'm going to find out more about it.
I don't doubt it's a good record, Mazzy.
It's a great record.
But if you look at the bunch of titles that Impex has been releasing, they can't get the big titles.
I know.
They're like
it's not a big massive title, but it's a great title.
Yeah, I understand.
It's an interesting title.
No one is clamoring.
Not for someone of your.
No, of course no one's clamoring.
Actually, 100%. Jim, you're only 12 years older than me, so calm down with that comment.
Big difference.
Donovan is awesome, but no one is clamoring for Donovan records. No,
but not everything has to be clamoring for. Okay, a year ago,
how did they do with that the Bud Shank record? Awesome record. How did they do with that one? It didn't do well for them. See, no one is clamoring for Bud Shank.
Well, look at all the stuff. Okay, you could say the same thing, but you could say the same to your friend.
You know what, Mazzy?
A lot of the stuff the Omnivore and labels like that do, they have a cult audience. It's not massive audiences.
Okay, hold on. Mazzy, you're making a generalized comment.
That's a specific.
Now, Omnivore, whether Omnivore is selling records or not, is irrelevant to the ones they are choosing to release. At least they're choosing to release records that are not easy to find or have not been released. Their Impex's mission statement is to release audiophile records. Omnivore's mission is not to do that.
Right.
I understand. If they had their choice, do you think Impex would release a Miles Davis record or a Donovan record?
Well,
it's what they end up getting. It's what they're able to get.
Okay. Having said that, Rob, they only need to sell 3,000 of them, So
I don't think they're selling 3,000 of them.
Well, I think eventually they are.
Yeah, or 2,000. A year ago.
At any rate,
a year ago, Impex put out an album that no one wanted, no one clamored for, but it's a great fucking version. It's a Youngbloods Elephant Mountain.
Yeah, that's another one.
That's a great record, but it's not a big record. People weren't asking or clamoring for it.
Impex released that?
You want
Impex. It's an audiophile, all analog version of Elephant Mountain. Now, the Donovan records, you can find them. cheap, but they're also really scratchy too.
Right,
And
they
a
were
lot of those,
popular records. They were popular
yeah,
records.
but a lot of the Epic ones, though people don't remember, a lot of the American Epic stereo ones were rechanneled for stereo too. I don't know about, yeah.
Mazzy, if you're interested, Bob Donnelly probably has the information on that record. So
Who's Bob Donnelly?
Bob Donnelly is a friend of mine who works for Impex. He does the quality control.
I'm going to reach out to them actually, because I'm a Donovan fan, and I'm going to see if I can get a copy.
Well, I'll make sure.
You should become friends with what's her name? Abby Fong. What's the?
Yeah, I know she is. Yeah, I mean, I rarely ask for some, but since we're on the talking about the grift, here's my latest. Now, the next two Bluesville have been delayed from the 28th till March. I haven't even opened it yet. It arrived yesterday.
Impex the Lark is awesome, Roberto.
Yeah,
it's Lonnie Johnson and Elmer, whatever his name is.
They're blues players. This is
Have you looked at it yet?
1960, kind of country bluesy, folk blues. Very good. They're releasing this and the Mississippi, and the Gary Davis record, March 14th or 15th. The next two are coming out from Kraft. But these are excellent. These are in cooperation with Chad. Now, if Chad's watching this, he'll go, "How come Mazzy's on the list? Take him off the list." But there we go.
There you go. Impex Bud Shank. Yeah, the Bud Shank is
okay, but here I have an OG mono of it, and it's an excellent recording anyway. It sounds awesome. So it should make a great audiophile version. Wait,
and
so
they're
not
I have it. It does. It's fucking
so they're
amazing.
not releasing two records at a time?
Wax, as you know, there are people, I don't think we're them, but there are people that, whether it's a UHQR or an Impex release, they'll buy it just because it's an Impex release. They'll say, "Oh, I've never heard that album," but I've been reading on the forums about these Rhino Hi-Fi of the Alan Toussaint and the Eddie Hazel. And there are people that say, "I've never heard that Toussaint, but I'm going to buy it because it's an audiophile." And then they like it most of the time. So there are people that do buy things just because of.
Okay, so let's explain the level of why a record is desirable, because there's so many factors.
Sure, absolutely.
Was that Alan Toussaint record a popular record?
Not
I don't know if it was, because
it was a
OG copies of that record are plus $50 or more.
It wasn't a hit record. It was a record that people liked it. It did okay. A lot of the songs were covered. The songs on it were covered. Glenn Campbell had that big hit with Southern Nights, and Boz Scaggs covered a couple of tracks.
He wrote a lot of songs for other people.
Yeah, I understand this, but we're discussing.
It wasn't a big hit.
Okay, so
let me try and talk. Okay.
All right.
So when that record was a good choice to reissue because of everything you just said, and for some reason it wasn't as popular, and there are not a lot of copies available. That's what jacks up the price of a record.
There's other aspects too. Here's something to think about in terms of Alan Toussaint. Here it is. He put out 4 or 5 records towards the end of his life that were really big. That also created interest in his older shit.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen all the time. That happened. He put out 4 amazing fucking records.
Okay, but again, this record. Let's talk about records that are sampled. The reason a lot of records the prices are jacked up is because people found out songs on that particular album were sampled.
Go to Elusive Discs. It's not on the Impex side. You can pre-order at Elusive Discs.
A normal person would just copy the link and post it in the chat.
Okay.
So everyone could go there.
I will do that.
But I'm just saying, in my experience, I understand those are good. He had a resurgence, right? And later in his life.
Unbelievable.
Well, but also a couple of years ago, there was that double best of Rhino record store day of Alan Toussaint. So they obviously they saw that sold at record store day.
Okay, from my knowledge of Alan Toussaint, like he produced the meters, right? People knew who he was and stuff
he was
like
part
that.
of that. Yeah, yeah.
He produced a lot of people and wrote songs for a lot of people.
Al Chupatulas.
We're just talking about this album. Why you choose? Here's the discussion. Okay, you can defend the artist. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm saying, in my mind, a reissue that's the reason to reissue a record. That record is an expensive OG. It's hard to find clean. Here's another reason. In the subsequent years, there are gray market versions or not 100% legit pressed versions of that record. So they came out with a audiophile version of that record. To me, that's the reason to reissue the record, because of the scarcity and the kind of demand for it. That's my mind. To just put something out because, I'm sorry, to put out a Donovan record is because it just comes off to me, that's all you could get.
I think there's another.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with
that.
Is there research
that's an
into
artist
Donovan?
that you missed. You know him, Rob, but you missed that artist. You don't understand. Yeah.
I do understand. I gave you, Mazzy, I gave you a legitimate reason for my way of thinking.
Yeah, but it's wrong.
But it misses some stuff. That's all. You're just missing.
What am I missing? If I go out today digging, what are the chances I'm going to find an OG Alan Toussaint or an OG Donovan? What are the chances to find either one of those?
I don't know what the chances are of that. I have that stuff. I already own it, and I love it. And so for me to find an opportunity, I
speak for myself.
Wait. For me to find an opportunity to maybe have an audiophile version, I realize it's bullshit, but an audiophile version of Hurdy-Gurdy Man, I don't give a shit if it sells. For me, an audiophile version of Hurdy-Gurdy Man, I'll take it.
Here's a good example.
Audiophile version of the Bud Shank record.
I'll take it. Wax, what is that? What's that label that what's that label? Audio Quest or one of those album labels that was the audiophile label from about 15 years ago.
Well, Audio Quest is an audiophile label from 30 years ago.
Okay, well, this is
Joe Harley produced the records.
I don't know if that's what the one that Steve Hoffman and Kevin Gray cut for. Okay, there is a 2-record set, terrible cover, but it's really good. It's Kevin. I have a copy of it. Michael Poetry bought a copy of it. Steve Hoffman cut this Donovan record, and it's his folk record. Before he went to Pi and Epic here, he did these folk records on Hickory, and it was like Universal Soldier and Colors. Remember those songs, Jim? The folk Donovan when he was sounding.
Yes, I actually wasn't into it as much.
Yeah, but Steve Hoffman cut a double album of that. The first one is the folk one. The second LP is 45 RPM EP that has Sunshine Superman. It might even have Hurdy-Gurdy Man. It's got 4 of his hits, 45 RPM on a double album. And that was a niche audiophile thing of Donovan. And that thing goes for over $100 now. You know, that is a in-demand thing. So I think there is a demand for that because the Mickey Most produced records that Donovan did actually are well recorded.
Hey, there's 168 people here. How many of you are in demand for a Donovan record? How many of you?
Well,
why don't you put up a poll, Rob? Make a poll.
I'm not putting up a poll.
Well,
people can comment in the comment thing.
See, Michael bought that double album I was talking about, and they're really good records. The Americans.
When did that album originally come out, Mazzy?
Maybe 15, 18 years ago, something like that.
Again, that is different because it's a resurgence.
There's a bigger audience now for those records, you know.
How many hit records albums did
actually
Donovan
Dave
Dude, that's where your thinking is wrong.
If you haven't heard his deep cuts, like for instance, the song Fat Angel wasn't a hit, but Jefferson Airplane covered it. Season of the Witch, yes, because Dr. John covered it, Bloomfield and Super Session. So many people have covered that song.
How many hit albums did Donovan have? Not saying
what difference does that make?
4 in America, which is more than he had.
I don't understand what difference that makes, Rob. Yeah. Why would a hit have anything hit record? It seems to me like you would be less likely to want to repress
again, Matt, Jim. Here's I'll explain it to you if you want to know how does it make sense.
Did you hear what I said though?
I heard what you said, and I'm going to tell you why you're not right.
If it's a hit, they printed millions and millions and millions.
That means you can go out and find those records very easily. There you go. That's why.
But we know that's not the reason. They put out Doobie Brothers records. You can find those.
Let's be serious and stop taking the other side of my point.
No, we're not taking the other side of your point. We're taking the side of our point.
Hold on. I'm asking a question. Does Impex, out of all the audiophile reissue labels, does Impex get access to the top shelf?
Of course not.
Oh, they don't have the budget for the top
right
shelf.
I understand it.
Intervention.
Then they end up putting out a record. They don't have a marketing budget, so they don't have a way to go out there and infuse the socialness of this record, and it's available and you can get it. They don't.
You're describing a completely different business,
no Rob. I'm not I'm describing them. I'm comparing them. Does Chad, does Mobile Fidelity, we seem to hear about all those titles very easily.
What kind of marketing budget does Chad have? What does
How many people are clamoring for this record?
Chad doesn't have a marketing budget, but he has a way of getting it out there. And people.
But Rob, how many people are clamoring for this? How many people are clamoring for?
Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people are clamoring for that.
Right. How many people are clamoring for Dillard and Clark? Gene Clark and Doug Dillard.
So let me
Impact record for $40 version.
Because you're lumping everything on the same pile. Hold that record back up again. Chad is not issuing those records. He is doing it for Kraft.
But why is Kraft put it out? There's a lot of bigger things.
Because Kraft.
What about
Kraft? Who is
Kraft? What about Intervention?
They're part of Universal. Or whoever who owns them.
Universal.
So what do you want? What do you want? I'm telling you, they have access to those titles and they're putting it away. But Chad's not putting his own money into putting.
Here's what's happening. He's
getting paid to make those records.
What about Intervention records?
They're not selling a lot of records. They put out
they don't need to sell.
Okay, Mazzy, pull out all the Peter Frampton records they just reissued.
I don't have those, but I got all the Gene Clark records.
But wait, you're making a point. They reissued all the Peter Frampton records.
I don't buy I don't buy every.
How many of you out there have all those Peter Frampton?
Listen, I don't buy every title from every label. I bought all the.
But I'm making my point. You're not making your point. I'm making my point.
I don't buy every.
You gave me a record label, and I'm telling you.
Rob, just because that's not a point, because he doesn't own it means nobody owns it.
Well, I don't know. He seems to get everything.
Who?
That's not very logical.
Yes, it is.
I bought all the Intervention.
Hey, how many people in the Peanut Gallery have those Peter Frampton reissues? How many of you?
I'll bet you some Peter Frampton fans do. Ask how many are Peter Frampton fans.
Well, now see, Michael's sort of making my point for me. I like Peter Frampton. Don't get me wrong, but why did Intervention release all those Peter Frampton records? You know why? Because those are the titles they could get.
Well, no, I disagree. I disagree, Rob. I think those are the titles he could get, and those are the titles he enjoys.
Let me say this.
No one enjoys Peter Frampton.
Wait, let me respond to
he does. Have you met him?
I didn't buy the Intervention.
Yeah, I have met him.
Wait, I didn't buy the
enjoys that stuff.
I have originals of those Peter Frampton. The Peter Frampton album "Wind to Change" is a sonically amazing record. So if anyone here wants to buy one Intervention, "Wind of Change" is an excellent sounding record that was on A&M. Obviously, the Intervention guy Shane has a connection with A&M. He puts out a lot of A&M records. He put out the Gene Clark records, the Burrito Brothers records. So he has
that stuff.
Yeah. The Burrito Brothers, who's clamoring for the Burrito Brothers? Those are great records.
That's a different example. That was a good record to reissue because OGs of that are pricey.
I wouldn't look at a Flying Burrito Brothers record ever in my entire life. But if they're pricey,
yeah, exactly.
All
You
I'm
know,
saying,
also stuff that's pricey today may not be pricey tomorrow, man. That's the way it works.
yeah. Hold on. I'm sorry. I go to click on something in another.
Actually, I looked the
I like
Donovan.
Joan arbitrating, but there again, why does there need to be a reissue of Joan arbitrating?
Oh,
So what does there need to be a reissue of, Rob?
Because
Anything?
Joan
There's
arbitrating,
tons of titles I would like to have.
that Joan arbitrating at it kind of
What?
influenced the biggest influence.
Okay,
of that
hold on.
was the
on.
Tracy Chapman. The Tracy Chapman.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. That's
But
great.
that
is a good
that
example.
came out of the Joan arbitrating sound and album. She really influenced.
There's no you're the two black women singers.
No,
that's
it's
what you think.
musically. You probably never heard the Joan arbitrating record.
Yes, I have. All my whole life, I knew who she was.
Yeah. I think you're missing it. Yeah.
Well, why you're bashing me instead of making a counterpoint to my point. It's not hard to find good condition Joan arbitrating records.
But we know that's not the point anymore of reissuing, because a lot of records that are coming out.
How much does it cost? Is it cost a considerable amount of money to reissue a record, Mazzy?
Of course it does. Of course it does. Yeah.
So give me 5.
People weren't clamoring, except the irony is those Little Richard records that your friend put out, which are excellent. Yeah. The only one people were clamoring for really was the country record, and that only was put out for Record Store Day. So why isn't that in print?
Well, I would have to ask how well they're selling for them.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
But their version of doing well is way different than Impact's version of doing well.
Why is that? I don't think that's true.
I don't know about that.
Yes, it is. They're not putting out a shitload of money to get the rights to license a record. They're not. They don't have.
Here's an example.
Well, neither is Impex.
Impex put out that.
Look, Rob, how many records does Omnivore need to sell?
Well, how many? Oh, that's different. How many copies of records does Impex press? How many?
3,000.
Omnivore doesn't even come close to pressing that many copies.
They don't. They only do 500.
Let me ask you guys.
They won't do 3,000. They won't do 3,000. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
Then they're not. Then they're not making any money.
Their bread and butter is CDs. Their bread and butter.
Okay, let me ask you this: Impex put out a one-step. That's what, $150 of the Getz and Gilberto record. Who needed that? It came out. There's so many versions.
How well is it selling?
Chad,
it's gone. You're going to reissue it.
No, my point is it's probably selling, but no one needed it. But there's a beautiful $40 version that Chad.
Yeah, I have that.
So why do you need the $150 one? But they found an audience. There's people that'll buy all those. I'm not one of them. I don't think Jim is. Maybe Jim is. I don't know. But
look,
why
I appreciate when they go back and they make it sound even better than originally. I like that. I love all the Zappa reissues. They sound so fucking good. They're not exactly the same.
Harry, how are those?
Yeah, but those are selling. Jim, correct me if I'm wrong. Those are selling.
What difference does that make? They're selling.
They're a company. Is Universal a nonprofit organization, Jim?
Is Impex a nonprofit?
No,
Impex has only been doing this.
Who's selling more records? Universal or
I don't think okay, so Universal is a more successful company. I am personally more interested.
They don't have to, and they're not paying huge licensing fees to themselves.
That's all they are, is a licensing company now. Anyway,
right. And I told you, hey, first of all, I told you this. I told you that
you still have a major point.
If all these companies had their druthers, they wouldn't be in the physical media market.
That's true. That is true.
Impex would.
The whole thing.
Well, the companies
Universal,
like
Warner Brothers, all of them. If they had
major
brothers, they would not be.
You're right. The majors would not be
in it. If Impex can figure out a way to stay in business for 20 years and keep doing what they're doing, should they or shouldn't they? According to you, is that
hold on? Okay, Jim, you're making broad statements.
No, I'm not. That's what's happening.
Can I say something? You're already arguing before I even said anything.
That's because you just said I was making a broad statement.
You're
and I was
making a broad
arguing.
statement, and I'm about to explain why you're making a broad statement.
Read Analog
Hold
October
on,
records.
stop. Let me just say something.
You know, you got to stop doing this. Stop. Just keep
No,
going.
but Mazzy, I was talking and
But
you
you don't
interrupted
have to
me.
bring it up.
Oh,
You can
wait,
just merge into the conversation.
Actually, here's how it works now. I'm doing the Rachel thing. Mazzy, I was talking and you interrupted me. So that's when I say stop. Okay? So if you didn't interrupt me, I wouldn't say that. Here's how it goes. To talk to Jim's point. What was your point before? Now, Mazzy, maybe you forget it.
My point was that they've been in business for 20 years.
Okay, so let's stop. We're talking about the last 5 years. Before that, Impex was getting good titles to put out.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
They were still. Why? Why is that any different 5 years?
They were putting out Miles Davis records. They put out a version I own of ESP. They put out. Let me finish, Jim. They put out Thelonious Monk. They put out Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk. I have a bunch of Impex records they put out before 5 years ago. Now they're putting out titles
about Miles and Thelonious, though.
They're still on.
Okay, go on. Okay, so
now, if you had your choice, would you put out a Miles Davis record or a Donovan record? They're not getting access to those titles anymore. They're not.
What's wrong with Donovan? It's not as big as. So you're saying since they're not putting out titles, I don't understand what's wrong with Donovan. If they can figure out a way.
No one is clamoring for a Donovan record.
Look, no one's clamoring for
these two Rhino Reserve.
Everyone's clamoring for Miles Davis records. Plenty. What did Chad put out? Put out a new Miles Davis.
Go for the Miles.
Read the room.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Richard, you have a choice to not be here. Let me tell you, if I thought I was right, I would say I'm right and you're wrong. Those words never came out of my mouth. Mazzy and Jim were interrupting me. That is my only stickler with what they're doing. I was trying to make a point while they were talking over me.
Hey,
but why don't you go watch cat videos? It seems like that's your mental.
If you're going to compare Donovan to Dylan, learn how to spell Dylan, okay?
I didn't say hold on. No one here is right. These are my opinion. I'm going to say this for all you morons like the guy I just highlighted. I am not right. It is my opinion. Everything that comes out of my mouth, my opinion. The only thing that Jim and Mazzy have done wrong is interrupted me when I was trying to talk. That's it. That's what they did wrong. 100%. I'll stand behind that. Everything else is my opinion. So shove it up your butt and go watch cat videos. Now, what stupid thing do you have to say, Yvonne?
Yeah.
Remember I have this relationship with this old lady. You hear me okay?
We all do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And she just called me this morning and she found maybe 40 more records from her record collection. And one of the record here, this is a Black Sabbath. It's a first pressing.
What's that in the corner? What is that in the corner?
It's a first pressing here.
It's a Vertigo.
It's a Vertigo. It's a Vertigo, you see?
Oh, that's the Vertical Swirl. Show the label on the vinyl. There you go. That looks like an original.
Yeah, and it's original.
Very nice. Clean it up. Very nice.
I think this is a UK version and it costs a lot of dollars.
Yeah, that's like a $300 record.
And you see how clean it's
that
very clean.
Can get you a lot of money.
Yeah. So I was a little shocked because it's the cover.
How much money did you give her for it? How much sex?
Lots of sex, not so much money.
Hold on. Am I wrong, Vinyl Piper? That's like a $300 record, I think.
800 on the OBC.
I got gift also. Vertigo too. Black Sabbath.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Trish, if you want to come up here, I'll yell at you too.
So are the Vertigos that much better than the OG green label?
I'm not the expert, but I think
some people say yes, some people say no. It depends.
I think Patrick says yes.
You see here? It's a UK Vertigo.
That first
The first or second
record
pressing.
means so much to me, man.
I'll give you $25 for that, Yvonne. Yvonne, I'll be your friend.
Yeah, well, maybe your friends forever.
Well, you heard the green. You heard
Put that away. Be very careful with it.
You heard the greenie here, Wax. You and Rachel heard the greenie here.
I thought that sounded better than
the
previous.
It's a gatefold also.
Yeah,
it's nice.
What else did you get from the sexy old lady?
Yeah, I got the first pressing of Pink
Ooh,
Floyd.
lovely, nice.
Yeah.
What record is that?
Echoes, or metal.
Medley with Pink Floyd.
Oh, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Let's see the label.
Yeah, let's see. I'm not. This is the first thing I opened.
It's Harvest. Is that Harvest? Harvest? Oh no, it's oh yeah, it's hard.
Oh yeah, that's very cool.
I think this is a good version.
Yeah.
It's so clean.
I saw Pink Floyd about 2 months before that record came out.
I mean, my heart was starting to pump, boom, 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 when I saw those two Black Sabbath in the. So I say to her, I paid before I paid $4 for each record.
So how much did you pay for these?
And this time I didn't have. When I saw those two Black Sabbath, and I have some other here further.
How many records did you buy total from her this time?
40. So I say to her, I will raise this. I pay you $7 for each record.
7 times 40, huh?
What else did you get in those 40 records? Anything good?
I don't know this. I don't know about. I've never heard this.
Nobody
Maybe
has.
some heavy music.
I think Impex is putting that out.
It's some metal.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rob, Joey Callio sent me the thing about the Donovan, and he was so excited about it. So there we go.
This I really like. Nina Simone.
Yeah, so that's a CTI record. I've never seen that cover. It's a different cover that I've seen.
I have never seen that cover either. So I think.
Can you pull the vinyl out? Let's see the label.
Going to Saint.
It's epic.
Epic.
Epic. Yeah.
The Baltimore record that I know she did for CTI. Okay. Does it say who produced the record on there? Is it Creed Taylor?
Produced, arranged by David Matthews, arranged by Nina Simone, strings by produced, record in January 1978, mixed by Electric Lady. No. Okay. It's a code here behind it. It's like this one. So I think
go down to the bottom. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. All the credits. I can't read the tiny label. She has a Baltimore record from CTI, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And then I've never seen this before. I didn't know that Robert Plant had. This is one of the first, maybe?
No.
That's a clump, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a bootleg?
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
So it's Robert Plant, and he had
what year was that from?
Vance.
What is that album?
It's a number. You see, it's a number there.
Do you know this record, Vance?
So maybe this is a special one.
Maybe Vance will buy that from you.
Yeah, maybe.
I've never seen that record.
1990. It's a record from 1990.
Okay, from 1990. Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Is it any good?
I just got it. It's maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
No, I'm asking like Vance or.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this lady, she's 70, 72, 73, and I think she has a good music taste.
Very well.
She was a rocker, and this one is strange. I've never seen this one. Maybe it's what do you call it? You can pull this out.
Who is that?
Oh,
it looks like some bad prog record.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Let me see. We can see on the vinyl if I can get it out. It's maybe prog, yeah. Okay.
Upside Down, Three Dog Night. Throw that
Three Dog
record in the
Night.
trash.
That's a Three Dog Night record.
Hey, can you put that
That
record
should
in an
be
envelope?
reissued.
Can you put that record in an
That's-
envelope and send it to Impacts to reissue, please?
Chad's reissuing it.
But it's a double. I see it's a double. But the cover was nice. It's pop-up.
Yeah, when you mail it out, don't put it in a mailer. Just stick it in an envelope.
And this one is okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah.
Pull out the label. Is that a European pressing?
That's an American. That's an American.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a RCR. RCR.
That's an American.
Yeah. RCA.
RCA. Mm.
It's not Dynoflex.
Yeah, that's
it's good quality.
That's a 70s pressing RCA.
Is it?
Or later. I mean, they went to orange and they went back to black.
Yeah, but there was black in the 60s, man.
Yeah, but that's not original. You can tell by that. That's not the first.
It feels like a new version. It's not the original, I think.
Yeah,
it's
that's
maybe
late 70s.
repress.
Because they went orange and they went back to black.
I have the number here.
Yeah, like in 1978, I have David Bowie records like that.
Yeah, exactly.
58. Here's something kind of cool.
It's some of the songs are mono and some in stereo, isn't
We know
it?
this. Yeah, we know the album.
Okay.
No, the whole album's either in stereo or mono.
Yes.
They just have two versions of it.
Okay. So I don't know if this is mono or stereo.
I'm surprised they didn't take off the mono catalog number by the 70s because they weren't pressing any then.
Yeah, both catalog number was there, so
That's lazy shit from labels.
lazy. Okay. I can get this is of course everyone have this.
Yeah, everyone has that record.
And this is trash. This is
Yeah.
from Iceland.
Oh God, that looks horrible.
Deep Purple.
That's like an 80s one, right?
It's an 80 Deep Purple. Yeah. This one I don't know. I think this is okay. This is maybe 10 years after, isn't it?
That's a pretty good album. Yeah.
Okay.
I like
you
all
paid
of
way, but you did pay $7 is too much for that, Yvonne.
This
I think it averaged it out pretty well.
I didn't pay 7 for this.
I mean,
because,
those two Sabbath records are a lot of money.
yeah, it's worth everything. I got the Rattle and Hum with U2. It's a brand new copy.
Yeah, that's a $7 record.
No, that you don't see that one a lot.
I mean, it's not an expensive record.
It's not a popular record, but it's a cult because
Hey, Bobby, you have to message me if you want a link because that means
I never heard about this.
Is
this free? Is the group free?
Yes.
Okay, I never heard about this.
It's a good record.
It's a good.
Hold on, what songs are on there?
All Right Now isn't on there.
No.
Okay. Heartbreaker. Okay, Heartbreaker.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I think I have one free record with
that 70. Is that about 70?
Blue something.
Is that 73, 72?
Let me see.
Be the bottom.
72.
Yeah.
72. Mm-hmm. And this is the record you should
I don't know.
This is
you see that right? That's a $5 record.
Yeah. This I must show. Okay, it's okay to show. This is. It's my gateway. It's a disco record.
Is that a soundtrack to a porn movie?
This guy was very strange, but he had made a lot of good disco songs. I really was happy to find this.
I'm almost positive you overpaid for that.
Yeah. This I don't know what is.
Oh, that's Budgie.
Okay.
Yeah. That's probably a $15 record or more. No?
Okay.
It's got a hard rock with a little bit.
All right. You could probably double your money on that one.
I think so.
It's a pat.
I like this group.
Does it have their good song on there? They have two good songs.
Yeah, it's
Couldn't Get It Right. Isn't that their song? Couldn't Get It Right. Couldn't Get It Right. And then the other one, Baby.
I have that song.
I love you.
This is a live record, I think.
That's like the worst type treatment for a whole.
Yeah, that's hard to read. Okay, Bobby. Give me a second.
David Gilmour's solo album.
Yeah, when is that from?
This is the first. Is this the first album from him?
Like early 80s, right? Mid 80s.
Yeah, I think this is the first album from him. It's from 78.
Oh, okay.
78. So I think this was okay.
All right. That one, that's probably a $15-$20 record, or someone could correct me.
I think so. If I take all the
All right,
records,
you're doing okay. You're doing okay.
I'm in plus. I'm in plus.
Well, show some more. You have 40 records. Come on.
Oh, I only took those records that was interesting. So some of the records was not.
Oh, so you bought a lot of shitty records? You overspent
Some
on?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There might be some good ones in there.
Any Donovan records?
No records.
No, but he's going to take all the money he's made from selling those records and buy the reissues that are coming out.
Yeah, I have some. I can just show, but this is just trash. This is just trash. Yeah.
I hope you didn't pay $7 for those.
No. So,
hey, I could show a record. I went out the other day. I didn't buy a lot this weekend because I went places and there wasn't anything. So I did get this. This was the last original sort of Creedence record. Yeah. I talked about this last week and I found a copy. But this is the worst Creedence record, right, Mazzy?
Yeah, it's up. Yeah, the last two.
It's because John Fogerty let the other guys, the brother left, and he let the other guys write and sing some songs on this, right?
Yeah, it's not great.
But I have all of them now, so I'm good. And then check this out. Here's a MoFi.
I have that.
This is a MoFi from 2013.
I have that MoFi. It's good.
Okay, what's distinctive about it?
Distinctive? It's a greatest hit, all analog, maybe?
No, and I don't think MoFi did this a lot.
I don't remember.
It's on colored vinyl.
Oh,
I know they did it for the Beck record.
Mine's not on. Mine is not on colored vinyl.
So this one, how many people know other colored vinyl besides this and the Beck?
I don't know.
What's up, Bobby?
Hello, Bobby.
How you doing, guys?
Do you have any Quaaludes for Rob today, or something like downers?
Why do I need?
I'm up here because I wanted to talk about Wax's always complaining to everybody about interrupting.
Well, hold on.
You do it yourself,
Hold on, Bobby.
Bobby, do you have anything other than bashing me to contribute?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see. What's today? Tuesday, Thursday. I made arrangements to go see that new Led Zeppelin movie. I've heard so much from it from a bunch of guys, right? And I'm really looking forward to it because Bipper was explaining to me that it was very early on. It was all early stuff, and it was more before they got famous and shit like that. And to me, I've known an awful lot of rock and roll groups before they got famous. And a lot of them, once they got some money and shit like that, they become different people. Their shit don't stink then, And that part I want to see about it. I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan. I always have been from the very first album in '69. I seen them. Must have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks after the album come out. And I it was crazy. It was crazy. Anyhow, that's why I'm here, Wax.
I never saw Led Zeppelin.
I think Vance, how many times have you seen the Zepp movie? I think I saw you said 3.
He saw it 3. He said he was going again this week or next week.
You saw it once, right, Mazzy?
I saw it once. I loved it. If people listen to the title or read the title, Becoming Led Zeppelin, it's them becoming the band into the first year with the first 2 records, and that's it. So you don't get into all the crazy shit beyond.
Can I ask a question? They put those 2 records out in their first year.
Yeah.
Well, one was recorded October-ish from '68. It came out in January.
Within a year, boom.
It came out in January, and then they recorded the second album on the road, mostly in America, as in different studios while they were touring. But he really talks about in January they ended up playing 3 nights at the Fillmore. That was the change, the Fillmore in San Francisco. And the
what year was that?
When did they play the Fillmore, Mazzy?
January 10th, 11th, 12th, I think. And the interesting thing is Taj Mahal opened up. They were the middle band, and the headliner was Country Joe and the Fish. I'm sure they blew them away. But they added the third night, and they played alone on the third night. No Country Joe.
By then they were
the album. I think the album came out that last day, but FM radio stations, KSAN or KMPX in San Francisco, was playing that, and the place was packed. And all of a sudden, they knew from that show and the LA show, I think a few days before that. So, but the album didn't come out into the UK until the end of March. And they didn't, like a year later, they did that famous Homecoming Royal Albert Hall show. It talks about this in the movie. And
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt all of you.
Mazzy, Jim, you two guys are old enough to remember when them two albums come out in '69, correct?
Yeah,
a huge conversation between people, seeing the difference between the two albums. Because in my experience, listening to music, and I was into it quite a bit, and with the people and stuff like that, there was never that kind of a conversation. Everybody was all upset. They didn't like the first. Some guys liked the second. Some guys liked the second. They didn't like the first. It was really weird, right? There wasn't the same with you guys.
Well, the first album was very different than anything else at the time. It's kind of like when people talk blasé about Sgt. Pepper. Well, it's been around. Who's overrated? No. But at the time, I mean, think of it at the time. I mean, what was heavy? I mean, there were heavy bands, but not like that Led Zeppelin, too.
Well, that was rock blues. That was rock blues, the epitome of rock blues, right?
They mixed it up with other stuff in there.
In August '69, I got the first Led Zeppelin, the first Santana, and the Beatles' White Album for my 13th birthday in 1969 in August. And I looked at those three records and I thought, will it ever get any better than this? I mean, think of those three records. Obviously, they're not, but still, what a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, for all that shit to come out.
Yeah, I got to remember, though, '69, it all changed. It all changed in '69. No more did you have the peace and love thing. The world was different after '69, right? You had all the shootings,
Well, in '68, you had the murders of the Kennedys and King and, Martin Luther King. And '68, it started getting violent.
Altamont.
It was violent in different, the civil rights movement was way before that, too. So
people forget how violent things were in '69 and '70. There were like banks being blown up and shit.
And that was from the left. That was the weather. It was the far left.
All kinds of draft dodgers and guys that are deserters up here in Toronto. I met quite a few of them, as a matter of fact, right? They got right into the hippie scene and the drug scene up here in Toronto, right?
Very different with Vietnam. Anyway.
Massey, you have seen both the Led Zeppelin movie and the Bob Dylan movie. The Bob Dylan movie is out this Friday in my town. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be a DJ on the.
Obviously, they're very different.
But which movie do you like best? Which movie
they're different. I mean, one's a documentary and one's a. I mean, I think if I had to pick one for me, it would be the Dylan thing. But it's a storytelling thing. It's not a documentary.
But I'm looking forward for the Dylan movie. I think he sings all the songs himself.
You can't compare them,
He do a good job there.
Wait, someone was asking, did anyone see the Sly in a Family Stone documentary?
I started it. It's great. I haven't finished it.
I haven't watched it yet.
All right,
wait, is that on which channel?
Bobby, you have to announce you're showing records.
I'm pulling an Ivan.
I asked for permission, Bobby.
Hey,
did you have sex? Hold on, Bobby. Did you have sex with a 72-year-old woman?
If you don't have Black Sabbath records and you don't want to spend a fortune buying them, get this album right here. It's all the early Black Sabbath great records right there. It's a 2-album set.
Rob, it's not the worst thing to have sex with 72-year-old lady. They're very calm and relaxed.
The band, my boys, I know them guys from '63. One of the greatest bands, Canadian bands that ever was. And none of you guys down in the States like them. At least
I saw them. Hold on, Bobby. That is 100% not true. They're a touring band, and they were very popular in the U.S.
I saw them once. I
They
got
tour
on
all the time. They are a jam band that toured all the time.
Yeah,
They toured in the U.S.
I
That's how
love
people
these
do.
guys. And of course,
I do know that
Jimmy.
much.
Oh yeah.
I seen Hendrix. How many of you guys seen Hendrix?
I've never seen Hendrix.
I
Yes.
seen Janis too.
Yes.
I saw Janis.
As a 2-year-old, I demanded to go to the concert.
Jimmy Morrison, saw Jimmy Morrison. Seen a lot of dead people. Eh? This is a mono, eh?
Isn't what's the one that's coming out for Record Store Day that's supposed to be
Out of our heads.
Okay.
It's the one I think it's the American version with Satisfaction.
You guys know Fever Tree? Three albums, the first 3
I
albums.
only know the first one with San Francisco Girls.
I remember when this album came out, every stripper in Toronto was Take Me to the River. Take Me to the River. They were all playing.
That's the Talking Heads record I need to get. I don't have that one.
Well, there you go.
This is one guy I would have loved to have a conversation with, because me and him got a lot of the same ideas, and he's an argumentative.
I interviewed him up at his house.
Last but not least, one of my favorite albums of all time. This is the first Canadian here. Eh? I've got a couple of them actually. Eh?
Yeah.
Well, here's some blues guys, right? Eddie Vincent, that's Eddie Cleanhead.
I don't think people are clamoring for that
Big
record.
Joe Turner, Roy Milton, Louis Jordan, Johnny Otis, classic. I mean, these guys are all big time. I mean,
I don't think Zappa's overrated. What the fuck?
there
It's
you
Bob
go.
Callan. He needs attention.
Okay, I want to wish a happy birthday today, 92 years old, to Yoko Ono.
I booed her.
Does she
I
even know
only seen
that
her one,
she's
I
92
seen
years
her one
old?
time in '69, and believe it or not, you know, she was doing all that screaming. They did videos, you know, about that
The live piece in Toronto.
concert. And she was, you know, putting a sheet over her head. She had to hold
She was in a bag.
on and all of that kind of shit. And when she started screaming and all of that, a lot of people started booing her. Lennon got mad at us. Honest to God.
Wow. Wow.
He got mad at us.
I like what Zappa did.
That concert. That concert was the very first rock concert that had everybody doing this.
Oh.
In '69, that was the very first concert that everybody was doing this in the crowd when Lennon come out. The guy, I forget the guy's name that was announcing Lennon. Let's all greet him by lighting candles and matches and you know, and it looked pretty neat.
Give
actually,
peace
right?
a chance. Give peace a chance.
Yeah. Right.
Howard Walker presents.
Zappa renamed Bagism, I think, off of Live in New York City. He renamed it A Brief Eternity with Yoko Ono.
Hey, Bobby, were you at the Toronto Peace Festival?
Yeah. That's
Hey,
what
Jim.
we're talking about it.
Jim,
Actually, Alice Cooper, you know, that was the one when the chicken, with the chicken and all of that stuff, right? And I seen him earlier that year, same place, Varsity Stadium. They had another concert there, right? And I didn't like him. It took me maybe 2 or 3 years to start liking the band, actually. But when I first seen them, I mean, they were a runner. They were terrible. I'll put it to you that way, right? But the best part of the concert, though, other than Chicago was pretty good, Doors were pretty good, but they had all of the early rockers, you know, like Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley and the Killer, Jerry Lee Lewis and Gene Vincent and Little Richard. They had all them guys there too, and that was fantastic about that gig, right? Seeing all those guys in the '60s, huh?
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, that was something else, right?
Never saw Led Zeppelin, never saw Jimi Hendrix.
Well, you ain't old enough.
My very first concert was Simon and Garfunkel at the Hollywood Bowl.
How old were you? How old were you?
I was 12. My friend's mom drove us and waited in the parking lot.
Really?
And, yeah. And the
That's
week
early.
before, The week before, I think Hendrix lit his guitar on fire. I remember reading about that and thinking a little bit to myself, how come I'm going to the fucking Simon and Garfunkel and not Hendrix? Even at 12, I knew.
Well, Simon and Garfunkel were pretty damn popular in the 60s, boy.
And you know what? It was a great concert.
Yeah, they were okay. They weren't a bad pair of singers. They did some good tunes.
Oh, so quick story. I'm at a show, and there's a bunch of dads there. It's a Neil Young concert, and we're talking about our first show. And I said my first concert was at the Hollywood Bowl, and it was Simon and Garfunkel. And I remember someone threw a brown paper bag up on the stage, and they opened it up, and there was a sandwich in there. It's just a sandwich. And I remember that. And so some dude that I wasn't even talking to at this concert is on his phone, and he shows me a Japanese website selling CDs of that fucking concert that I went to back in 1968. And I bought it, like, $12 with the guy throwing the sandwich up on the stage. It's the exact same show I was at.
That might have been a friend throwing a sandwich up on the stage. A lot of guys.
Maybe it was, whether it was staged or not. Today they would have called security, But that's Ms. Music. That's
this is the terrible cover, but this is Audio Fidelity. This came out 2005, so 20 years ago. This was an audiophile release mastered by Steve Hoffman. I think this goes for some money, not crazy, but some. It's out of print. The first record is the folk record he did, Catch the Wind, Colors, Universal Soldier, all that, Sunny Good Street. The second is 45 RPM, those songs, including Hurdy-Gurdy Man. I tell you, the version of Hurdy-Gurdy Man on this, compared to my original and my Sundays mono, my original stereo Sundays mono, kick is amazing. So if Steve Hoffman 20 years ago could do this, I bet you that Impex is going to sound amazing. Remember, this is what, 68 Hurdy-Gurdy Man. So it's a really well-recorded record.
Is that Ms. Music on there somewhere? MS
what?
Music? Does it say Ms. Music on there anywhere?
Is that a company?
Yeah.
No, Audio Fidelity. Oh, yes, Ms. Music, marketed by Ms. Music. Why?
Yeah. There used to be a record store on Foothill Boulevard called
La
Foothill
Cañada.
Records, La Cañada, and is owned by. Listen, this is interesting. It was owned by a woman, Carol, who was the first person I personally knew who transitioned from male to female. Ms. Music, Carol. Yeah, Ms. Music. She transitioned. Really nice, awesome lady. She still has some of those records. I think you can find them.
This is amazing.
The first record on there is the green record you were holding?
No, the first record on here is the folk album he did for Hickory, which is the folk years, him and acoustic guitar, when he did Universal Soldier, when he did Colors, Catch the Wind. He goes after that.
What year? What year?
64, 65. And then he goes to Epic and Pi. And unfortunately, Pi in the UK kind of fucked up and didn't release his records in the same way. So that's why he was bigger in America. And, he was doing the psychedelic pop stuff before, next to the Beatles, he was doing it the best. Mickey Most made the hits he did, Atlantis, Hurdy-Gurdy Man, Mellow Yellow, Sunshine Superman, Barbara Bajagel with the Jeff Beck group. Jimmy Page plays on.
He was big for a couple of years, man. Donovan was real big for a couple of years.
65 to 69 was his.
Keith Richards had to play something on the guitar.
Yeah, he had a lot of, John Paul Jones. Obviously Led Zeppelin people, because they played on all those Mickey Most recordings. So
I have a friend from Glasgow and he said to him, Donovan was like this wandering hippie,
He was.
Yeah.
Raji, Impex is doing an audiophile version of Hurdy-Gurdy Man. The thing is, it's the best sounding. It's, as much as I like Sunshine Superman and Mellow Yellow, Hurdy-Gurdy is a better sounding record, better recorded record. So maybe Maybe that's why. Maybe the tapes are better shape. We don't know.
He
But,
had some other interesting stuff on them albums other than the hits. He had some other stuff.
Exactly. I mean,
Oh, it's a great record.
Jennifer Juniper was on a River Song, Sunny Day. Yeah.
Jennifer.
I love all this manufactured enthusiasm for Donovan records.
Oh no, I love Donovan.
Well,
Jennifer.
All those people like the Beatles, you know, that whole boomer thing, you know. But hey, the proof in the pudding is Michael here, who's what, 30 years old, poetry. He likes those records.
Oh,
Dead
there
air.
you go. Thank you, Nicole. My point exactly.
Oh, they go for cheap. We're not doubting they go for cheap. Unfortunately, except for Hurdy Gurdy Man, all the American stereo versions were rechanneled in the 60s. So they're not true stereo.
So what is Impact's putting out? Are they putting out a mono version of the record?
Actually, that's a good question. I don't know.
Let's get
I've never heard about this record. Somebody knows about this record?
Hold
what
on.
is it?
Well, let's see the cover.
Frampton's Camel. That's a good record.
Frampton.
Anything, any of those A&M records. That's a good record.
I think is that part of what
I've
Intervention
seen him
put
in
out?
1970 with Humble Pie.
It's very heavy.
It's a good record.
Is that Peter Frampton's band after he left the soul? Is this before he left solo or after or
Before,
That
probably.
was after he left. That was before the live album. That's
Okay.
after he left Humble Pie. That's his third album, maybe second or third. I forgot.
it's from 73.
Page was on Sunshine Superman.
Yeah, he was. He was on a few of their records.
I didn't know.
John Paul Jones arranged some of them.
I think one of the fun things if you buy this a big collection that you find song records that you never heard about and you search for them and then you find music that you really like. So I really like to buy.
It's
those
funny.
records.
It says all this stuff about Bernie Grunman, Preston RTI.
I bet there's a sightseeing place where you can see all of the tunes that Jimmy Page and played on in England before he got with Led Zeppelin and all that.
It's kind of incomplete.
That's a $3 record, Yvonne.
Yeah. And the rest is like this disco collections with René Renato. Save Your Love. That's the worst song.
Yeah, it's Thursday night. I'm seeing it.
It's getting worse, Yvonne, if you paid $7 for that.
No, I didn't pay $7 for everyone. I paid $7 for the Black Sabbath. This I paid $2 or $3 for.
All I'm saying is
I'm in plus.
that would be Mazzy. That would be a reason to get the Donovan record if they came out with their press statement saying all the other ones were rechanneled to stereo incorrectly. This is the mono, the way the artist intended it to be.
I don't know. Well, actually, Hurdy Gurdy Man was not rechanneled. That's the first one that wasn't. The two before were rechanneled. But
What album is Impact's putting out?
This one.
Okay,
And
so
this is the Sundays 2013. Sundays put a mono version of it. Okay.
Is that a legit mono?
Yeah.
Then but it'd be interesting to see if they are.
But it's funny in the ad didn't say anything stereo mono. I'm really curious.
Go find out, Jim. Put the message on the pigeon and send it out.
I'll find out too.
I'm so glad that I don't own any Donovan
Yeah,
albums.
the Sundays sound good. Sundays put all those early or most of those early Donovan records.
Hey,
out.
you want to know what the best thing Donovan ever made?
No. Yes.
Was his daughter.
Donovan.
Yeah, I think so. Donovan is not the artist for me. It's
Ione Sky, that's her name.
Donovan made great records. You know, it's funny. The folklore literally was because Dylan mocked him in Don't Look Back, which is bullshit, really. He was a different thing. And he wasn't copying Dylan. He wrote great songs. He had the quote, the better voice, which doesn't mean anything we know, but he made great records. He had huge records. His records were bigger than Dylan records. Jim, you're muted.
He's from Scotland. He's
I never compared
hold on.
him to.
Can I yell at someone in the peanut gallery? Listen, the best way to probably do that is make a comment about Joan Armatrading with information about her.
That's
Richard,
true.
he didn't teach the Beatles how to play acoustic guitar. He taught them a finger-picking style on the acoustic guitar in at the India thing, at the retreat. Yeah, it's the style. It's the finger-picking style, like Dear Prudence.
He okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is this a mind-blowing album, you Donovan fans?
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Which
one?
one?
My favorite, Open Road. It's not my favorite. It's a 70s record.
This one, for some reason, became my fave.
That's the one with Jeff Beck group.
Hold on.
Yeah, I like that one too. I got
back
that.
up again so people
That
can
has
see
two major. That has two major singles. That has Atlantis and Barbara
I
Jackal.
love this record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one.
Barbara Jackal. Yeah, I love that shit.
The Jeff Beck group backs him up on that.
You know what? She's a 75-year-old woman. I doubt it very seriously.
Yeah, the live album. You know what they need to do? Okay, the live album came out before.
She's a big girl, Rob.
Yeah, the live album in Anaheim. The one in Anaheim is
music record.
But
there's
there
another
was a
Ms.
CD.
Ms. Music did this too. She did this reissue. Frickin' awesome. Deep Purple live on the BBC. It is really good. Double record.
Good band. That's a great band. Deep Purple. Good band.
What year did that?
I seen it. 71.
The performance was from I don't know.
Rob, I have a little problem.
Great lady, man. I love Carol.
You have a little problem. Take a blue pill for it.
Yeah, you can see. I posted a link in the chat. I just ordered that machine. I have linked in the chat. So I think this year I only have money to pay for this machine and not bought. I will not buy any. I will not buy any new records.
What machine are you talking about?
I have not just ordered a Hi-Fi Rose streamer machine. It's a new model. It's not
open. Nice. Hi-Fi Rose.
It will come in 2 weeks. It's Rose Hi-Fi.
Goo Barabba Jackal.
151. You can see it.
Barabba Jackal. Yeah, that's it. I love that shit.
So it's
it was a silly song.
You can click Wax and show the
Give me what does Barabba Jackal mean?
Difference does it make, man? I was so fucking high it didn't matter.
He was doing a lot. He was really influenced by the Beat Poets, and he was doing a lot of that.
Hey, all them folkies were, they're all Pete Seeger people, eh?
Score.
I thought he was more. My knowledge of Donovan is like psyche shit.
I'm going to answer Frank because I don't know all the details. Vance should respond. He saw it 3 times. I think one song was repeated. Maybe I don't remember. See,
hey, don't tell me about the movie. I don't want to know. Don't be a spoiler here.
This is where I think some.
Wax, cut it out, Wax.
Hey, did you give away the ending in the movie for Bobby?
Some freak
stabbed you to death.
Okay.
Bobby just goes through their first 2 years, Bobby. Calm down.
I'm deaf anyhow.
The end of the Led Zeppelin movie, Robert Plant slits Jimmy Page's throat. It's like the ending of the Led Zeppelin movie is just like Sixth Sense.
The interviews were done like 5, 6, 7 years ago because I think the original cut of this film opened at Cannes in 2019, maybe. So it's been, in the can literally for 5 years, and maybe they re-edited it.
Whoever this dude is, I'm a huge fan of Bob Walsh, believe it or not. His solo stuff, and Ebony Eyes is a fucking awesome song. I love that song. The music video for it is awesome. And I've seen that clip on YouTube.
Maybe Impex will release it, reissue it.
Well, it's a $5 record.
The Eyes I know is by the Everly.
Yeah, but Impulse can make it a $40 record.
Bob Walsh had a sad story. I think a lot of his life, he had a bad back and he couldn't perform.
Well, that sucks.
That was sad. I think.
This is a waste of time, this show.
What, Bob Walsh? He's awesome.
No, this morning.
Oh, God. Well, it's because you can't. I'm talking now. Try interrupting me. Maybe it'll add some energy to you.
You know, Rob, if you don't point it out, it would just ignore you, get in the conversation. But stopping and making
it
it
boosts the views. It boosts the views. Do you understand?
Yeah, you know.
And my goal with every stream is to be yelled at by DJ Trish.
Oh, don't be knocking DJ Trish. She's the sweetest.
I didn't knock her. I just said my goal is to be yelled
well,
at.
you invited her up, to challenge her.
I invited her up to
well, she was just talking. She was
screen.
just saying, "Do you talk like that to your students? In other words, do you interrupt them, talk down to them like that?"
Give me a break,
and I was going to answer. I was going to say, "You bet he does. Wax is wax." Period.
Yes,
right?
I yell at everyone.
Everybody.
When I go down the street, I grab people and scream in their face.
Yeah, well, I believe it. That's okay. I do the same damn thing. Eh? Happens when you get older. You get nasty.
Here's a cool record. I think I bought this record because of.
I mean, even Mazzy's cursing on live and stuff like that. F this and F that and all kinds of shit like that. And I don't expect that of a nice young Jewish boy.
Thank you, Robbie.
Well, you Jewish guys weren't big time cursers. All the Jews I knew, right? You weren't big time cursers.
Fuck you.
Oh no, Bobby. Nope, wrong. My family, we are world class. My grandmother.
Are you a Jewish guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
My Jewish grandmother. My Jewish grandmother used to. I would say to her, "What are you doing, Grandma?" And she would say, "In Tuchas Groipen Royce." Now, I didn't know what that meant until years later. I asked my father, and my father said, "That means I'm growing rice in my ass." That's what my grandma used to say to me.
Well, so you come
to grandmas get a pass.
If you ever meet them in person, don't recommend going to eat some fried rice.
Was she a sharecropper, Jim?
Hey, hold on a second.
Sharecropper.
My grandma was a peasant. She spent absolutely not one moment of her life in a schoolroom. Not one moment.
Bobby,
what country?
Poland.
Polak too, hey?
Yeah, and she came over from during 1917 during the Spanish flu. Her and her daughter came from Poland to Winnipeg.
She's lucky to survive.
The Vineyardrek, as they refer to it, to Winnipeg. And that's where she got to Winnipeg, and her husband had died of the Spanish flu. My grandfather had 4 kids, and the other half and his wife died of the Spanish flu.
Yeah, it killed a lot of
people. So when my grandmother showed up at the train station in Winnipeg, my grandfather met her there. They made a deal, and he became, he said, "Hey, your husband's dead. My wife's dead." And that was it. They had 2. They had 2 kids, my father and my uncle.
By the way, that's a misnomer. The Spanish flu didn't start in Spain.
No, it didn't start in Spain, but the Spanish were the first to cover it in the news.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, the first sign that you have the Spanish flu is you start speaking Spanish.
Spanish flu is an opera, isn't it? An opera?
No, what? Spanish flu started in like some military base in Oklahoma or something.
Okay. But Bobby, you are a Viking like me. All the 3 other people on the panel are Jews. We are Vikings.
I didn't catch that.
We are Vikings. The 3 other people on the panel are Jews.
Yes. He said you're whiteys.
Well, you're a Jew too, Ivan?
No, I'm a Viking.
Yeah.
His real name is Murray Rabinowitz.
I don't believe in any of that crap, religion or anything else like that.
Neither do I, but at some point or another, your forefathers
with their hand in your pocket telling you what to do and how to live.
Right. All I know is at some point your forefathers kicked the shit out of my forefathers.
Sometimes it's not good to
forefathers
have the
were
hand in
Irish, were Canadians. I mean, my family, both sides of my family, come to Canada in the 1700s. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at the records, the War of 1812 against the States, it was my great granduncle. You know, he was fighting in that too. There's my dad's medals up there, the little one, and then there's my grandfather's medals, the 4 ones there, and that's got a battlefield commission on parchment signed by King George V. He went from corporal to second lieutenant for bravery and stuff like that. Got the military medal, and his sister actually is the very first time in Flanders Fields was ever in print. Was in her diary. She was a nurse on the front lines of the First World War. They wrote a book about her and Aunt Claire, and they've got all kinds of crap down there. And actually, if you look at a Canadian coin book, before we had money, my great granddad, he had his own coins, gas coins down in Nova Scotia, because they didn't have any money up here in Canada. I'm old Canadian, I am, but of Irish ancestry. And actually, when my kid brother got married, our grandmother and grandfather and their sister were up for the wedding, and they were speaking Gaelic, speaking the old Irish, so that the kids couldn't hear them. They were making fun of all the kids and stuff like that. It was pretty funny. And my granddad, he brought up a big board that he did clogging or that Irish dancing on. He says, "I'm going to dance at my grandson's wedding," and he did, right? Yeah, well,
Bobby, I know you like to fish. Do you fish on the ice? Is it ice on the?
Ice fishing is really it's just a bunch of guys getting drunk together in a warm little hut. It's a lot of fun though. It's a lot of bonding going on. It's nice to do that, fish, but it's no big deal.
Don't they have like hookers that go from tent to tent?
Well, yeah, you do that too. You're going, or you be sliding beers across the ice to another hut, because it just slides, right? It's beautiful.
Right.
Although I got to tell you, taking a crap out in the wind at 40 below, a nice Catalina, that's no fun.
Yeah, so
I'm a fisherman. I love fishing. I still do it. It's the only sport I still do, and I played them all.
My problem is I won't eat anything that I catch out in the Santa Monica Bay, man. It's polluted.
Well, I'd be eating the stuff you catch over the stuff you buy. I'll tell you that right now. You don't know what the hell, at least you know what's in what you're catching. But that stuff that's coming, especially fish farms, and I'm pretty near all your fish are from fish farms. You don't ever eat that shit, man.
But Bobby, you have different fisher people who catch and release. Some fish for dinner and food. So what kind of fisherman are you?
Well, pickerel, walleye, bass, trout, salmon. They tell me pike tastes pretty good, but I always throw them back, right? Okay. I like the freshwater fish more than the saltwater fish. Pickerel, walleye being my favorite. I love walleye, right?
No flounder, trout.
And
no trout.
They're big fish too, Ivan. They're big.
Trout.
Fish.
I meant trout.
You got a good meal, right? But
you want trout, not flounder.
Ordinarily, you want them about 22 to 26 inches, so you get a good fillet. And I love walleye, man.
I worked on a fishing boat, on one of these party boats where out of Sausalito in March. We would go out to the Farallon Islands and fish for salmon.
Out of Half Moon Bay, we did that a lot.
Yeah, I worked on a fishing boat out of Sausalito. It was a horrible job. I was paid $10 a day.
To get this rating on this stream higher, I will show the fish I will eat after the stream.
Very nice.
This is smoke fish. It's
smoke fish is nice.
Smoke and it's torsk. It's a trout. It's a famous.
That looks like something you bought did you buy that at IKEA?
I buy IKEA don't sell fish. It's only meatballs. But
Bobby,
this is smoked and it's very, very nice. Very good.
This cap I'm wearing
is the
75th anniversary of a fish market here in Glendale. 75 years old.
Boy, don't they stink? Don't fish markets stink? That's one of the stinkiest places going is a fish market.
No, this place is clean as a whistle, and they don't fuck around. But it's expensive as hell. But I wouldn't buy fish anywhere else. Yeah. I wouldn't buy fish over $40 a pound for halibut.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hold on 1 second, guys.
It's expensive, but
I hope your algorithm for the rest of your life goes crazy with Joan arbitrating shit.
He's telling the whole biography.
I know, because he's looking it up. It's going to stick in his algorithm.
I love
Joan arbitrating was whacked, right? She was a little weird.
I loved Macy Gray. Remember Macy Gray?
I love her. Good. Yeah,
you know what? Here's why I hate Macy Gray.
We're going to just talk about black women.
Macy Gray is certifiably nuts. If you go read anything she posts, she's a nutter. But here's why I hate Macy Gray. I was minding my own business watching the first Spider-Man movie. Was it the first one? And all of a sudden, in the middle of the movie, they go, "Hey, Macy Gray," and she's in the movie. And it was like a non sequitur. It added nothing to the movie. It was because she's an artist on Sony, and it was a Sony movie. Horrible.
Okay, so horrible. Here's my experience with Macy Gray. So the week after she won the Grammy or whatever, she was scheduled to play at this shithole in San Jose. I was living in San Jose at the time. This crap place in San Jose, and I'm thinking, well, she's going to cancel. No, she shows up and burned the place down. I mean, she was so fucking good live. She really was killer.
Jim, I was in Los Angeles in 1999 when she released the first album, Macy Gray.
Yeah, this was 1999.
And she had a concert on the street, in the main street in Los Angeles, but I didn't get tickets. I was in Los Angeles there, so I was really disappointed. Yeah.
She took all her money and she gave it away to underprivileged kids.
Okay, so she
I'll tell you another thing. Another thing. She covered a Zappa song. She covered Your Mouth, which is a great Zappa song, and she kills it.
Yeah, but she was never in a lyric by Bob Dylan like Alicia Keys was.
No, Alicia Keys. I love her too.
Alicia Keys is one of my favorites.
She's in a Dylan lick. I was watching Alicia Keys because I think Dylan saw her at the Grammys or something on the side of the stage and put that lyric in one of his songs around that time.
Yeah, she had no idea that was coming.
But the first album from Macy Gray was a good album. So the first album was a good album.
A bunch of old white guys talking about these black artists here, young women. It's great.
For those of you complaining that I don't highlight your comments, make better comments. Like this guy. His algorithm is
I just use Wikipedia.
You know what? I think you're going to be invited to an African American female bookstore opening. Ball.
Good.
All right, here's what I'm up to later today.
Oh,
real.
Is that an Impact reissue?
Yeah,
just
this could be worse. We could be talking about Steely Dan. So,
jazz.
Oh,
nice.
Do you use Jim? Do you use your machine? I see the machine behind you.
Yeah.
Do you use it? Do you play it on it?
Yes, I do. I don't record, but I play back.
Can you make a little video? It's nice to show. Do you make videos or shorts?
I should do a video of that. I should.
Yeah,
I should.
do that. Because not so many people have a machine that's working. Some use it just as a prop in behind and everything. But
no, you know who else has a better one than me is
Harry.
Harry's got a great one.
Yeah, Harry, and he uses it. I know he uses it. Yeah, and I think also Ingroove has
Harry.
Ingroove has one also.
If you knew Harry.
This is by far the best sounding version of this.
Yes.
The reel-to-reel of this. This is unbelievable. Sounds so good.
Wow.
Dylan.
I love that record. That's a great.
Yeah, here. Giant Steps. Amazing.
We need a reel-to-reel stream, Rob, and Harry can come up and show all his reel-to-reel records. That's a good one. That's a good album.
I don't know the player.
That's their best, I think.
Best album. I agree.
DJ, nothing is wrong with Steely Dan. I love Steely Dan, but at some point, like, I'd rather do some Dylan stuff. I mean, do some Donovan stuff instead of more Steely Dan stuff.
But
the thing, okay, here's a good example. The Steely Dan albums were great for the most part, with a few exceptions. Were great recorded, great sounding. And most pressings you can get are pretty good. Some better than others, obviously. Donovan needs help in making some of his records in terms of the ones that are really well recorded.
Okay, Mazzy, I'm holding a gun to your head.
Okay.
Be honest.
All right.
The top 3 bands you talk about the most on your channel.
yes.
Well,
Be honest.
the top 3 bands, obviously.
Beatles, Nick
Beatles,
Cave,
Kinks,
and who else?
and Kinks, Birds. I don't talk about the Birds that much. Dylan is.
You should talk more about Supertramp.
I don't like Supertramp.
I know that, but Supertramp is so good. People,
I know
they are
like
good.
them.
Yeah,
People
I like
like
it.
them.
Very. Yeah.
You don't like Crime of the Century?
No.
In fact,
Wow.
I think part of it is it was played so much when I worked in stores that I just.
You got sick of it, in other
Yeah,
words. That's
yeah.
not the band. Did you like it when it first came out?
in fact,
Isn't it? It's logical. Is that logical then? Is that the other one?
didn't Steve Westman say that there's a 3 LP version of Live in Paris coming out?
Yes.
Supertramp.
Hmm.
Supertramp's awesome. I don't
I
care.
like Supertramp. There are some jazz elements in Supertramp music also. I have every
Alicia Keys says that Supertramp was a huge influence on her.
Yeah. Ed Topo.
Oh,
I would pick Donovan over Steely Dan.
You're
tell
holding
that?
For me.
Oh, me too.
I want that.
This is really nice.
Donovan over Steely Dan, no
not a cheap
problem.
record.
That's a good record. Yeah.
This is cool.
Which is that? That's the inside?
Yeah.
I don't like that. They should use the real cover. I don't like that cover because that's not so good. Expensive.
Yeah, I agree. The MoFi
Yeah.
one steps and things not using the real covers.
Yeah, they should use the real cover. It could be nice package, but it's so generic. This cover.
I think they want them
crunched.
They wanted them to stand out at the time. I guess that's why they did it.
But they have the box. You love the box, Massey.
If you fill up a box, I'm fine with a box.
Yeah.
It's full of foam
Matt,
padding.
Yeah.
You're a Donovan fan, right? What do you think of Fat Angels?
Oh, great song.
Yeah, 1966. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
And the Airplane cover it on the live Bless Its Poor Little Head. They cover it because they mentioned the Airplane in it, and it's on that live album by the Airplane. They do a great version of it.
That's a great tune. If you guys don't know it, check it out.
Yeah.
The Superman Paris concert is a very, very good live concert, and the album is good. So if it comes special with 3 records, I look forward for that record because that's a good record, and the sound is good also from that version.
Oh, here's a cool.
Actually, Harry, that's not right. That's totally not right. It wasn't.
Professor Longhair, yeah, he's a blues guy.
Dylan never did it.
This concert is from the Queen Mary in Long Beach.
I have that.
And this
McCartney.
photo is by who? Who shot this photo?
Linda McCartney.
Yep.
McCartney.
And McCartney and the McCartneys were at that party, that event. Yeah.
What? Paul McCartney.
That's
Paul
right.
and
He's
Linda
not,
McCartney.
Gary,
Okay.
he's still alive though.
He was not a poor man. Dylan never made great psychedelic pop records like Don.
You're full of shit, Harry.
Yeah. I love Dylan better. Oh, I would pick Dylan over Donovan, but Donovan was different early
Yeah,
on.
totally different. Donovan did like 3 great records.
Hold on.
Dylan did 7.
Hey, Jeffy. If you were to pick 2 bands that you cannot compare, it's Supertramp and Yes. How much saxophone is in Yes songs?
I seen them both.
What Yes song has a saxophone in it?
I mean,
And again, what's a prog Supertramp song?
how bad is that name?
Two
Supertramp.
different
What the
groups.
fuck is that name about?
Oh, hold on.
Supertramp.
Again, Supertramp is not psych.
No, it's not psych. It's pop music with
Yeah,
elements.
pop.
I don't
of-
even
of-
even
it's-
even
good pop music.
I would
It's
even
not pop music. Not
even
a
if
pop.
Supertramp wasn't
Maybe not.
pop,
That
you're
wasn't
not-
fucking
History.
Supertramp.
you're comparing bands that don't be.
You know,
Hold on.
Supertramp
But,
is
hold on one thing again, Jeff E. Supertramp uses the electric keyboard, not the organ.
Can we shift from Donovan to Tommy James and the Shondells, please?
that's a great record. It's mafia
yeah.
music. That's
You know what it is? You're just randomly picking up records off the floor.
Yeah, that's Crystal
I
Equation. I got that 45. I love that too.
There is no method to the records you're showing.
so what's the
Rob,
worst? What's the
There
worst?
is
I have learned that.
They're
I've
within
learned that.
grabbing
What's the
distance.
worst band name? Supertramp or Weezer? Come on,
Weezer.
they're both
No,
like
hold-
crappy.
Well, let's stick to an era,
Hmm.
era of time of music for worst band names,
Why?
because
Worst band name.
it's comparable to what the time and people coming up with names.
Mm.
I don't know, but so DJ Trish. Yes, is classic rock.
This is going to sound inappropriate, but I always wanted to be in a band called King Kalani and the Blowin' Samoans, and we wore grass skirts and coconut bras. I just thought that would have been cool.
No,
The whole band.
Can you go back to
grass-
picking records up off the floor and showing them. Please?
Not cool, Jim. Not cool.
I'm
But
saying,
Jim, one group called Kid Creole and the Coconuts.
Yeah.
That's a real group, and that's a
Yeah.
they
funky,
ripped me off. Those guys ripped me off.
funky music. Funky music.
Anyway,
Kid Creole
I
and,
s-
and the Coconuts. That's a real group.
I saw a group called Travis Shook and the Club Wow.
Can somebody take the Google away from and Wiki away from Loyola?
Obviously, there's no work getting done at where Paul works.
I think he's like Stephen Hawking, and he's blowing into a
Tommy
voice
James.
synthesizer thing.
Tommy James. I love Tommy James and Shondells. But then again, I loved Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, totally. That's That's fun. That's as a kid, I love that. What, 10 years old or 11?
Yeah, novelty records are. I got a lot of them actually. Right.
Hold
After
on.
the turn of the century.
That's a pretty good name.
The Butthole Surface, their name worked. They had a hit song, and the people had to say their name on the radio and on MTV.
There, the punk scene, the punk era was great with names because I remember buying a single. I wish I kept it. There was a band I bought Rough Trade in San Francisco. I bought Surgical Penis Clinic. It was kind of a. You remember
You
that
sure
band?
that just wasn't a flyer?
No, but
Oh, surfer sounds gay to me.
No, look it up. Surgical.
I
Penis
knew
Clinic.
a
It was
girl.
kind
She
of
was
a
trying to talk
noisy,
people into
noisy industrial.
How about Shame-Based Fear? I thought that was a great name. Shame-Based Fear. 80s. Introspective.
I
That's
mean,
a good one. King.
All right, calm down on your comments in the peanut gallery, people.
How about the reading the lyrics to the the PMRC thing when they were reading the lyrics into the congressional record from the Mentors. There's a band called the Mentors, and this woman is reading the lyrics into the congressional record. Bend up and smell my anal vapors. And Zappa got a hold of it and made it into a drone and made a whole song out of it called Porn Wars.
Jim, best Zappa album.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the best Frank Zappa album?
The best?
The number one best Frank Zappa album.
I don't know. Hot Rats.
Okay, Hot Rats, yeah.
Can't go
But
wrong.
it's all mostly
It's mostly instrumental, but there's a little bit of
If you want the more commercial, go with Apostrophe. That's probably the most.
Apostrophe is fantastic.
My favorite is Shake Your Beauty with this Bobby Brown song. The double.
Oh yeah, that's not funny. Now Bobby Brown used to be a hit in a disco hit in Europe.
In Norway, it was number 1 5 weeks.
Yeah, they didn't know the lyrics.
No, we played when I was 13 years old. I was on the local disco music dance club, and we danced to it slow and half slow, and nobody knows the lyrics. So.
And nobody knew the lyrics. It was a hit, a disco hit in Germany and in And
was number one in Norway. Many
in
weeks.
Norway,
In 79, I think, or 78, 79, was it?
Yeah,
79?
nobody knew the lyrics. I can take about an hour on the Tower of Power as long as I get a little golden shower.
So if we had known that song will be banned in Norwegian radio.
Isn't that crazy?
Jim, that little, I don't know if it's a trilogy, but from Joe's Garage, Volume 1 and 2, and Shake Your Booty, I have promos of those three I got at the time. Those are like, I think Rob Ludwig cut them, and they're really great.
Good song.
They're
I like
great sounding records.
The only problem is he switched over to digital tape actually, and everything sounds a little hotter, but it's still phenomenal.
Well, you like hot press records.
But Shake Your Beauty, is that not analog? Is it digital?
It's analog, but he literally found this Sony digital tape.
Okay.
And it was weird. It didn't hold up. It wasn't a good move. Things sound a little funny to my ear compared to when he was using regular tape.
When they started doing the reissues of the Zappa catalog like 5 or 6 years ago, I bought that reissue of Hot Rats. Is that analog or digital?
It's all analog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it was what they called it was a bullshit thing. Digital. It was actual real tape, but it didn't work very well. It didn't hold up. The stuff from the 60s worked a lot better than the stuff from the late 70s and 80s. Now, I might be wrong. Those might have been on regular tape. That was towards the end of an era for him. Kind of ended with Baby Snakes.
And he had a girl entourage group playing also with him. Was it
the GTOs? He produced the GTOs. Those were a bunch of women in Laurel Canyon. I mean, half of them were his babysitters and
He had a
girlfriend.
But they made one album. They made one album.
Jim, what was Zappa's attitude to his digital recording?
Oh, he loved it.
Okay.
He thought it was, he was way into it.
Okay.
Zappa was into whatever was the most modern. He wanted to do everything on a synclavier. He was he had a synclavier, that has the computing power of a greeting card that when you open it up, it says happy birthday.
Okay. Yeah. I saw that.
He had a woman in his group early. He had Ruth Underwood early too.
Ruth Underwood early. There's a record that just came out of a show he did with a woman singer. He did a tour with a woman singing. I forget her name. It didn't last long. She was a bit of a straight arrow, and she didn't like singing all the crazy shit that he made her sing. Like
Jim, we want to see a closer picture of this reel-to-reel machine. Can you take your camera to the reel-to-reel machine, or can you?
Yeah.
The Peanuts also wants to see that.
The reel-to-reel is a Revox A77.
Okay.
Here.
That's a good brand, Revox. I've heard about that. They make good tapes also. It's nice.
Yeah, but Jim, tell them what you told me.
What?
Okay, so the whole stuff. Okay.
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Jim wants to get the new version of that player. Do you know how much the real player costs?
No.
$16,000.
Oh, they made a new copy of it, a new special brand.
Revox is back, and they're making a new machine. But the problem is that it's as much for recording as it is for playback. I'm not going to record anything.
Did you listen to that?
Jim, I seen when you were walking around there, I seen you had a bunch of Mazzy hats.
Yeah, I've had Mazzy hats before I knew Mazzy.
Hey,
I'm bold. I always wore hats.
Did you watch the latest Ken McAuliffe video?
Which one? Yeah, I think so.
He interviews this guy who's
yes, the Revox guy.
The real guy.
Great.
Yeah.
I highly recommend everyone go look at that just for the sake of
if you're into real, if you're into reel to reel, watch the Ken McAuliffe thing.
You have a link in the chat. Can you do that, Massey?
I only know of a very few people into reel to reel, like Harry and Jim.
It's a cult following. I'm not into it either, but
it's very expensive hobby. To be into that.
When I was a kid, I took audiovisual in school in junior high. I used to roll the thing in and show movies. And from that, and then I had a reel-to-reel when I was a teenager. I had a reel-to-reel in my,
Okay, one more.
So this is not your. This is a machine you have bought afterwards. This is not a machine.
This machine, I'm so fucking lucky. There used to be a guy.
This is a.
What's going on, Mazzy?
I'm trying to paste
Chill
this
out.
link in, and okay.
The
link is in the chat.
That Revox A77 used to belong to Brooks Burdan, who was a very famous audiophile guy, and it came out of his house. And it was Brooks's reel-to-reel, and I bought it from the family for $500.
Well, aren't Chad's Bob Marley like $300 to $400? Those Bob Marley reel-to-reels coming out?
Yeah,
they're not cheap.
I heard
$400, $450, something like that.
I showed.
Yeah, mine won't play. They can convert these to play 10-inch reels, 15 IPS. I don't have anything that'll play 15 IPS. And you know what? I don't care.
I already showed your comment, Harry.
Yeah, Harry wants all 3 speeds. And
I remember one famous Rob also. I think you remember that this American Psycho movie, was it? It was playing music from a reel-to-reel machine, and it do a killing. I think that scene is so good. It's so good.
That's such a terrible movie.
All right, hold on. We might make a love connection. Joseph, reach out to Harry if you want to sell your machine.
Yeah, Harry's a reel-to-reel guy.
Yeah, I think in order to play all 3 speeds,
I was at a party at a rich guy's place in 65, right? I got to admit, I mean, we were playing 45s all the time, and then he put on, everybody carried 45s in them days. We put our names on them. And all of a sudden, he put on this reel-to-reel. I forget what it was, but what a difference in the sound and all of that, eh? You know?
I have to wrap things up because I have to go drop off.
Thanks to Matty for the link. A lot of people like it that we put the link in the peanuts.
Thank you for the link, Mazzy. Thanks for everyone for joining today. I will do this again on Thursday.
Right on.
So I appreciate everyone coming up. Huh?
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you for all the different opinions that were wrong.
I've never been
right. I'm always right. What are you talking about?
You know what? I would like everyone to come up on screen on Thursday with all their Donovan records, okay?
Oh, I hate Donovan. Is not from me. You got it for free, Massey. Therefore, you show it.
Yeah,
I didn't get it. I bought these.
You bought it. Okay. Sorry.
Take care, everyone.
These are not new. These are not new.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.